Okay, so now the last thing that I put on the checklist may seem a little silly to you, but it's actually very important to your gas mileage. And that's this. Come over here and follow me. Just as a simple reminder, whenever you pump your gas, make sure you tighten your gas cap all the way. A loose gas cap or not having a gas cap results in loss of gas mileage. And if you have a Subaru like me, it'll turn your check engine light on, which is very unfortunate. So the next thing that we're going to discuss on my list is pop the hood, please. We're going to do a fluids check on the car. I'm going to show you where all the fluids are. Is there a napkin in the car? Okay, now the first thing that you're going to want to check is your oil. Somewhere in the car, there will be marked with a yellow little oil sign. Put that right there so you can see. That's a sign for oil. This right here is your oil dipstick. This is how you measure the amount of oil that's in the car. Now what you want to do to check your oil is you want to park on a nice flat spot. Oh, excellent. Park on a nice flat spot. Make sure that your car isn't running hot. If you were just driving it, let it stop and cool down because hot oil won't give a good reading. Now what you want to do is you want to pull the dipstick out like this, clean it off, put it back in, and then take your measurement from here. On all the oil dipsticks, there's a little bar measuring empty or full, and you can tell you need oil. Oil should be a clear amber color, not dark like mine is. Mine's telling me I need a new oil change. Okay, the next thing that we're going to go over is brake fluid. Now, brake fluid is very important in the car because this is the fluid that runs throughout your brakes and clutch line if you drive a manual. It can normally be found at the top right of the car, right here. This is my brake fluid reservoir. Now, if you look on the side, there's a gauge right here saying minimum, maximum. If you ever need to put brake oil, just make sure you go to the parts store, get the correct brake oil that you need, and putting it in simple. You just unscrew the cap, there's a little dipstick in here, you pull that out, and you pour it in with a funnel. It's very simple. Now the next thing on the list is the power steering fluid. The power steering fluid is found right here on my car. You can find it normally here, depending on the car, but it will always be marked power steering. Putting the power steering fluid in, it's very simple. Just pull the dipstick out, use a funnel, by power steering fluid, and place it in. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to check on the car is the coolant. My coolant reservoir is right here. It's normally found in the front of the car near the radiator. It's very important that your car always has a proper amount of coolant in it, especially in times of harsh weather conditions. When you're driving in really hot weather or you're driving in really cold weather, antifreeze is very important because it's the antifreeze that keeps your car running hot when it's hot, and it's the antifreeze that keeps the car running when it's freezing cold. Now, the last thing on my list, the windshield wiper fluid. May seem pretty self-explanatory. It's normally found in a big reservoir looking thing like this around the car. You can tell by a light blue fluid known as windshield washer fluid. Now, putting it in, all you have to do is go to the parts store, get yourself a thing of windshield washer fluid, and pour it in. And it's as simple as that. Well, class, I hope you enjoyed my explanation on the checklist. And I'll pass it off to myself.